Local and international dance community remains incredulous and heartbroken at the untimely death of Soweto-born dancer choreographer Dada Masilo on the 29th of December 2024. While the recipient of many local and global awards, including an Italian Lifetime Achievement Award for Classic and Contemporary Dance in September of 2024 at the Premio Positano Léonide Massine for the Art of Dance, Masilo already began her meteoric career at the Dance Factory in Newtown in Johannesburg, and this was in the 1990s. So her first ballet role was as Klara in the production of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, suit by the Johannesburg School of Art, Ballet and Music, of course, where she was educated. But then she came to the serious attention of the dance industry as an 11-year-old back in 1996 when she was invited to dance for Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands. And so to pay homage and tribute to the late Dada Masilo, we're going to be joined by renowned choreographer David April. David, good morning. Thank you for making time to chat with us here on the SABC at this hour.
And a good morning to you too. Thank you so much.
So we're obviously celebrating her life at times, and we're just looking at her remarkable impact, not only in the ballet world, but perhaps also for South Africa at large. And I wonder, given her extensive background in ballet, from your vantage point as you remembered, how do you think she incorporated classical techniques into her contemporary choreography? How do you think she also added her unique flair?
One of the things that Dada used to do as a choreographer was to make sure that just in terms of integrating classical ballet or contemporary dance or even with African dance forms, that she did a lot of that with a lot of understanding. So in all her works, she would go really into research, making sure that everything is done with integrity, that it's not just fusing for the sake of fusing, but then making sure that her storytelling, which was central to her work, that a lot of people then are able to relate to what she's talking about, that they're able to integrate that into their own lives, so that ultimately, once we see, it's just a beautiful work of art that's done with a lot of integrity and understanding.
Absolutely. And speaking about that relatability, I mean, as Masilo began her career at the Dance Factory in Newtown in Johannesburg, we're seeing, or looking at what role that could have played, this institution, how it would have helped in shaping her artistic style and vision, just on the back of what you've alluded to. How do you think that came to be?
Alfred Hinkle, who was one of Dada's mentors, mentioned the story that just after she graduated from the National School of the Arts, Suzette Lesser, who was very instrumental in the development of Dada's career, called him and then said, how about having an angel breakfast, as he called it? And then an angel breakfast was having a whole lot of young people who were talented, and then just to see what could they do in terms of just making sure that those who wanted to pursue a career in dance did that. Dada was amongst the many, and then immediately, as Alfred put it, Dada was taken on, and then Suzette made sure that a lot of her support that she needed in terms of just developing as a dancer. So she took her on, sponsored her career, and then just made sure that ultimately she just rose and rose. And then the year after she went to the Jazz Art Theatre, where Alfred was the artistic director, she then subsequently went to Parts in Belgium. And after all of that, it was just a matter of Dada constantly rising and then making a difference in the contemporary dance scene.
Yes, an indelible mark, in fact. And I wonder, even as we look back to some of her career highlights, I mean, since Masilo came to prominence at a young age, she performed for Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands. This was at the age of 11.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
What an honor. How do you think this would have, influenced her future and also just her trajectory at large?
Dada was a storyteller, an amazing storyteller. So at that point, obviously it was an honor. And when she went on stage, it didn't matter who you were. For her, it was about being on stage and then telling her story and then doing it so believably that whoever was watching, it was a case of, my word, what are we witnessing here? And having performed for the Queen Beatrix, and many others after that, it was just a case of I'm just here to tell my story, and then I'm using dance as an instrument to do that. So for all these years where she's been performing both nationally and internationally, she's just wowed the audiences wherever she's been. And if it so happened that she was part of an ensemble, one wouldn't, I mean, like you couldn't miss Dada. But she made sure that even though she was part of that, part of the collective,
Yes.
that she worked collectively with the people that she was dancing with. And that's one of the things that was so memorable about her, that she was so giving, she was generous in person and also on stage.
So what do you think this says about her global impact and even just the relevance of South Africa, of our dance, of our choreography, and her indelible mark that she made in the dance fraternity the world over?
Dada, like many artists within a South African context, we are ambassadors. So wherever we go, it's a case of what are we telling in terms of our stories from a South African point of view. And she just continued being there, that ambassador, and also other people looking up to her, making sure that we are also part of that collective. So for me, over the years, it's just been continuing to tell that story. As I said, I know that I'm repeating myself, but then for me, it was that we are ambassadors.
Yeah.
We are telling our stories, and then we are, in a way, taking some of the Western stories and then making them contemporary, like many of the choreography that she chose. And then sometimes it would be paying homage to our ancestry, our identity, our cultural identity, which she embraced so beautifully.
Yeah.
And unashamedly so. So for me, that's one of the things that really stand out for me.
So that's what you're speaking about, agency, and also just reminding the world that the story of the world is incomplete without our version. And she obviously beautifully told that through dance. And I just wonder if we paid enough homage to her, if we gave her her flowers from a South African point of view. I'm asking this because she was obviously also the recipient of the Premio Positano Léonide Massine Lifetime Achievement Award. And that has a huge impact. But I wonder if we did enough here back home, just as we wrap up very quickly.
Sadly not. But having said that, just before her passing, the Soweto Theatre, the city of Joburg, gave her a star. She was amongst 41 artists who were honored being a contributing factor to the development of the arts within Gauteng. But sadly, she didn't have enough seasons within South Africa. Her work wasn't seen a lot within a South African context. So sadly not. And then a lot can be said about our Department of Arts and Culture, where they do need to continue to play a contributing factor in recognizing the people who are actually making an impact internationally. So I'm just happy that the Soweto Theatre, just before her passing, it was almost like time years that we are honoring you for being one of the stars that has just made an impact in South Africa and the world.
David, thank you for making time to be with us and for paying homage. We'll leave the conversation there. David April this morning, remembering Dada Masilo, of course, local and international dancer, effectively having changed the shape and appearance of contemporary dance in South Africa.